Hey everybody, it's Justice for Comics. It is Thursday. It's time for Whiskey, Cigars, and Comics. It's going to be a special episode. I've got a nice special guest here that's coming on, Aaron Bartling, comic book artist, creator of fantastic art. So we're going to have him on, interview him, get to know him a little bit. I'll be taking questions in the chat as well. So if you guys want to come up with some good questions, I'll be checking the chat periodically. So tonight I'm smoking a Padron cigar. I think it's called a Padron Natural. And I'm also the whiskey of the whiskey of choice is a bourbon. Old Ezra, aged 7 years. I got this. I was having lunch with a friend, and there was a Total Wine. And I never go to it's down in Sarasota, so it's a little bit of a drive, about an hour for me. And I thought, what the heck, I'll go into the Total Wine and maybe grab a bottle of wine or whatever. And I usually look for, bourbons, and I saw that this one only had 2 on the shelf. And with one of the people there at the store came up to me and said, "Hey, you like drinking bourbons?" I said, "Yeah, I've never seen this one before." And she goes, "Oh, we just got that in today, and there's only 2 bottles left." She goes, "We only get them once a year, and they sell the same day." So she goes, "You must have had the best luck." And I was like, "Apparently so." So I grabbed this rare bottle. Apparently this thing is, I've never seen it. I don't know. Old Ezra. It's definitely it's an old biblical name, but yeah, she's like, we get it once a year, and you happen to come on the day that we get it. So I bought it immediately. I don't know if that was true or not. Maybe she was just telling me to get me to buy it. I don't know. But it's pretty good. It's got a little spice to it. It's pretty smooth though overall. I like it. All right, guys. So let me bring our good friend Aaron. He's been waiting in the backstage here. Let me bring him on, and we will begin the interview and see what's going on with Aaron. There he is. My good friend Aaron Bartling.
What's up, guys?
Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
I'm going to be the go-to YouTube show for interviews. I had Ryan Brown on last week. I got you. I think next week I got Esteban, Salinas.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I got Livio Ramondelli coming on next month.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's a bit.
I know. I'm still trying to get Jenny Frizen to come on. I know she hasn't responded yet to me. I'm going to have to pull some strings to get her to respond. Yeah. But so we want to talk about you and your art. I'm going to pull up your Instagram page and show off a lot of your art pieces.
Cool.
And I do have in my possession a book that you did the cover of, Killing Red Sonja #1, right?
Yep, that's it. When did you get that in?
About 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So I as soon as I saw it, I ordered it. I was like, I didn't even know who you were. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Dude, thanks for getting it.
Then And when I got it, I was like, who is this artist again? So I started looking you up, and that's kind of how I found out about you. And then I totally missed that Mutants Turtle cover that you did, though. I had no idea about that. I found out after it was sold out, of course, like most people.
Well, I mean, if you go on eBay, you can just spend like $1,500 and you can get
Yeah,
one.
I know. That's why I told people you've got the hottest cover of that last Ronin. You got the hottest book. How does it feel? You're hotter than Kale No. You're hotter than who else did it cover? Momoko. Yours is hotter than Momoko's.
Yeah, honestly, it's crazy, man. I mean, when I started illustrating it, I never thought that it would get to where it's at now. I mean, I knew it would do pretty well, but I didn't think it would blow up the way it has. So yeah. But I appreciate you saying that, man. I mean, it's just I don't feel that. I think it really hasn't hit me like how big it's gotten. But I guess I don't like. There's just so many other talented artists out there, and like it's hard to say, you know, oh, mine is the best or whatever. But I appreciate you saying that. But
I think you should go. I think you should have that attitude. You have to have confidence in this world, because if you don't speak up and promote yourself, no one else will, right? I mean, I'm going to try to help you with my little channel, but for the most part, man, that's the way you got to be. You've got to go for it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, I think you're amazing. I'm going to pull up your Instagram page, and I'll share the page here in a second with everybody, so everyone can kind of see magic. All right, let me pull this up here. So if everybody wants, you know, if you ever want to go on Instagram, make sure you're following Aaron Bartling. It's Aaron Bartling Art. Right, there's the Instagram page. And here is the cover in question, which is an expensive book. I think a raw copy is at least $500-$600 for that, maybe $700 for that, something crazy like that.
Yeah, I've seen them going for $500, $600, all the way up to like $2,500 on eBay. So
crazy,
pretty crazy, man. It's crazy. It's been nuts. I mean, after we, I got my beer, man. I didn't have any beer, so I wanted to make sure.
Oh yeah, what do you got there?
I got a Firestone Mind Haze. Ever had this before? I'm a big fan of the IPA.
I have not. Yeah, I like IPAs. I don't think I've had that one though.
Yeah,
there's a lot of IPAs out these days. It's hard to keep track of them all. There's a ton of them.
Yeah, I said go. I told my wife go get something different. So yeah, I'll try this out.
All right. Yeah, I'm drinking some hard stuff, man. I'm drinking the old Ezra.
The old Ezra.
Yeah. Aged 7 years.
Is it pretty good?
I mean, it's pretty smooth. Yeah. I mean, I'm drinking some pretty nice bourbons, and this one's right up there. It was $55 for the bottle. It's not too crazy, but it's not a cheap bottle.
Yeah. I'm not a huge liquor guy, to be honest. I usually stick with IPAs are kind of my go-to. Usually I'm just a beer drinker, but
when you get older, and the beer really adds the weight. So I try not to drink as much beer. I try to drink 1 or 2 glasses of hard liquor, and then that's good for me. Instead, I'd have to drink 4 or 5 beers to feel the same way. So.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, but anyways, yeah. What I was gonna say about the Ronin cover, it was just So, do you want me to kind of give you like a little?
Yeah, tell me how long it took you to do that. What was the process? Let's dig down into that.
So Den, obviously, you know Den, right? He's the owner of Line Breakers.
Right.
So he got in contact with me, and then I think this was around, I believe it was April. Yeah, it was like April or May. And then he was like, hey, do you want to do, Ronin #1? And I was like, oh, absolutely. Of course I do. So we knew right off the bat we wanted to do something that was more on the emotional side, because we had seen some of the other covers that already got released, and they were just kind of not generic, but
they were just focusing on that one character, right? They were focusing on that one character. Yeah.
It was the one Ronin character, and I think a lot of them were just kind of like an action pose or something like that. Not that that's bad, you know, but Denton and I went into it and we were like, okay, let's do something completely different. Let's do something that hits on that emotional side.
Right.
And me personally, like, I love doing the action stuff. I think that's fun to do. But I think you can tap into that emotional aspect for an art piece. I think that's what really grabs people, I think. And that's what happened with this one, is why I think it did so well, is because people connected to it on an emotional level. You know, and it was more than just, you know, when they looked at it, they're like, oh, that's cool. But, you know, it brought back that nostalgia and like all those feelings, you know, of having deep love for these characters growing up and seeing them, you know, dead. And so it was hard hitting. So we did. So the original concept was actually, it was not a cityscape background. It was like in a tunnel. So originally we were like, hey, let's do same thing. We'll do the three brothers and we'll do the Ronin in the front. And then we'll do, it'll kind of look like you see a sewer going like way off in the background, like they're under. And maybe I thought like we could do some, maybe like a crack in the ceiling and moonlight shooting in, and that's what's creating the light source. But then Denton talked to the guy over him, his boss essentially, and he was like, hey, what if you did something more like a cityscape, sort of like Blade Runner-ish? That was kind of the inspiration. And so
I'm totally getting that vibe from that. Absolutely.
So because the book is, as far as I know, it's set in 2077. The story is in New York. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's try that. Let's do the the futuristic city. So I drew up a real quick sketch of it and I sent it over to him and he's all, dude, that's it. Let's go with the city. So I was like, okay, cool. So I had, and what was really nice about it was he hit me up pretty early to start it. So I had about a month to work on it. And that's a lot of time, because lately, like, I have a ton of covers I'm working on right now. And
so you're pretty fast normally. You could knock out a cover, what, in a day or two?
No, I mean, usually I'd say like maybe 4 to 5 days.
Yeah.
Out there. Yeah. So it was nice to be able to have a lot of time to just work on it and really finesse it and play with different ideas and different, like for instance, that like smoky effect, that ghost effect, that actually wasn't like that before. It was just them, like, you know, totally clear. And then I was like, I sent it over to a buddy of mine, and he gave me some feedback and some critique. And he's like, what if you try to do something like a little bit more ghosty kind of feeling, you know, like where they're a little bit more of an essence kind of a look. So I was like, okay, cool. So I messed with some filters and I like tweaked I did some blur effects and stuff. And that's what I
you were tapping into the Ghostbusters slimy guy, right? What's his name?
Mm-hmm.
So that's all digital. You do it. That's all digital rendering right there.
It's all digital rendering. Yep. Yeah. So I make it a point with my work, like one of my number one goals with my style is I really try to emulate like an acrylic or oil painting feel. So lots of playing with edges, you know, soft, hard edges, and trying to get that brush stroke that emulates a more traditional feel. That's why I have a lot of people always asking me, even with this piece, they were like, oh, can I buy the original? And I had to tell them, oh, sorry, man, like this is all.
Yeah, it's all digital.
So
you can buy the original print. That's what you tell them. Right?
Exactly. It won't be worth that much, but you can get the original print.
It'll have you can just sign it for them. You can charge them for this.
Yeah, I'll sign it. I'll remark it.
There you go. No, I mean, you're like, I've had Esteban Salinas on my show before, and that's what he does. He does all digital pretty much. I mean, he can do he can do non-digital as well, but
Yeah.
you know, he does the same thing you do. He creates a lot of effects using filters and you know, does a lot of things to enhance the image, which I think is cool. And yeah, I mean that's the beauty of technology these days, right?
Totally. And I think something I try to do too is it's usually rare for me to kind of play with the like filters and all that kind of stuff with Photoshop. I try to just paint, you know, strictly paint. No Photoshop. You know, I'll try to do little things to speed up my process, but I try not to use too many of their, you know, effects and stuff like that because I want it to. I feel like when I start doing that, it starts to have that digital painting kind of look and feel, which I'm trying to stray away from because I want it to feel.
Yeah, you want people to almost think, is this digital? You know, you want to give them that little like doubt, like, is that digital?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of amazing artists that, you know, that like I would say, you know, guys like Archer, you know, who I feel like I can tell it's digital, you know, it's digitally done, but it has, you know, his rendering style is obviously incredible. I feel like it looks more traditional than a you know, than a traditional painting or whatever. So but
well, that's one thing as you get more and more. I mean, you're getting commission work. I know you're doing other covers, but what I've you know, talking to other artists, you know, I talked to Ryan Brown last week, and he's like, yeah, he likes to do digital, but he does a lot of paintings too because he wants to sell the original artwork, right? Which will go for thousands, a lot more than he's paid for that one cover. Exactly. So you look at guys like Perillo, you know, that dude just that guy wakes up in the morning with a paintbrush in his ass or something. I mean, that guy's painting all the time.
That guy
you know? I mean, I don't know how he does it. How many damn covers can he do in a month? It's crazy.
I don't know. Like I'm curious what because I know he has a contract with Dynamite where he's, you know, like not exclusively working with them, but he's, you know, they have him lined up for cover after cover, and I'm just like, man, he must just be constantly working just to be able to crank those out. It's just crazy.
He probably works a lot. I mean, that's it. If you're going to be in the art game, man, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of art hours. You know.
Yeah. Actually, not a lot of people know this, but I actually work at UPS. That's like my day job actually. So I've been there for let's see, 6 years now. So
I don't think you'll be working there very long, my friend. I think you're probably gonna have to call it quits there at some point soon.
Man, I hope so. Honestly, like I would love to get out of there. It's a good job, man. If you want to make a career out of it, it is a good job.
It's hard ass work though, right? It's hard physical work.
It's extremely physical. It's the work environment is not positive. You don't leave there with your head up. You leave with your head down. It's just one of the main reasons I've stayed there is because of the benefits. And so I talked to my wife about it, and I'm like, I would be able to financially now quit UPS, but
your healthcare is expensive, and they pay for all that.
Yeah, the healthcare. I mean, we have friends that, you know, they're paying like $900 to $1,000 a month just for health insurance. You know, and they're here in California. I don't know if it's cheaper in other states or whatever, but it's like I don't pay anything for the doctor. I don't pay anything. You know, I'm usually at 80 to 100%.
That's worth a lot of money because I'm my wife. I have insurance through my wife's employment, and it's $600 a paycheck. So you know, that's $1,200 a month for a family. That's a family plan, right? So
exactly. So you know, having kids and stuff, I'm like, you know what? I'm sacrificing in a way, you know, with that, just because if it was just me by myself, I would have quit a long time ago. But I think just having a family, I'm like, okay, like I just kind of suck it up and go in there and do it. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm hoping, you know, God willing, that I'll be able to, you know, quit in the next, hopefully, couple years or a year or something, and then I can just do this full time, you know. So
absolutely.
But
so one of the people in the chat has a question. How many hours do you work on covers in a month? I think you sort of touched on that.
geez, trying to think. It's hard to count, man. It's honestly hard. Because I feel like, so usually what my schedule looks like right now, because I just work part-time at UPS, and luckily we still have benefits even working part-time.
Yep.
So right now I work about 5 hours a day. So I'm trying to right now wake up at 6 or 7 a.m. get going on the covers that I'm working on, and then I work till 3 o'clock. So that's and I'm not really taking any breaks, just breaks here and there. So usually I would say I put about 10 hours in every day usually.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, my dad worked for UPS for many, many years. He was a driver. He started out doing preload.
Okay.
So I'm very familiar with the whole UPS lifestyle. And I never saw him around holidays, right? He was gone.
Yeah.
He'd be working 20-hour days, I think, sometimes during the holidays.
They work those guys to death. They just work them to death. So I actually just switched my schedule. I'm going to something called a ramp. So I'll be working on the airplanes now. And I'll actually be going in at 3 a.m. So I'll work from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then it's nice because I'll have literally the entire day to just work on art, and then go to bed at a reasonable time, and then get up at 3 again. So
wow.
So yeah, man. So but yeah, man, I'm blessed. Like honestly, it's crazy because after Ronin, it was like this.
I bet there was some demand, right? There was people calling you saying, "Hey, can you do another cover for us?"
It was crazy, man. Like it was like like. Okay, so just to give you a little backstory, how new I am to this industry is I got my first cover. My first cover was what was it? It was Deja Thoris. So my first cover was Deja Thoris for Unknown Comics and Dynamite, and so I did that in November of 2019, and then excuse me, and then up until now, August. I haven't really done too many covers, so it was crazy. Like the door was just a little bit cracked, of like getting exposure. I felt like once Ronin dropped, it was just like the floodgates just opened, and I've had nonstop people just hitting me up, and it's really cool. So I'm really thankful. So
well, then you'll start doing convention circuits. That'll be the next thing you'll start to do when we have conventions again. I don't know when that.
Exactly.
Sometime next year, maybe. I don't know.
Hopefully by 2025 we get something.
Oh God. Well, you should be able to pump out a lot of covers until they start running the conventions again, and then everybody will be coming to you for the signatures, right, on those books, and that'll keep you busy. Sure, all the remarks you can do and all that.
Yep. I was telling my wife the other day, I was like, man, it's so cool because I just got DC under my belt, so I'm doing DC, and then I'm hoping I'm not working exclusively with him, but for the most part, kind of. Do you know who Stephen Finkel is with the Comic Mint?
Oh yeah, Comic Mint, sure.
Yeah, he's the one that I did the cover with for the Red Sonja that you picked up for Red Sonja.
Yeah.
So
it had to be where I got it. Then I can't keep track of all these damn stores where I buy the books from.
You're good, man. Yeah, you're good.
It was probably them. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So Stephen Finkel, the owner, he's pretty vested in me, and he's told me, he's like, my goal is to get you to the big two, and I want to get you to Marvel. So that's hopefully by the end of the year, man, I can be close to getting Marvel or get them, and then.
Who do you really want to draw? Who do you really want to draw badly?
Man, that's a tough question. Hey, DT, thank you, man. Honestly, I appreciate that. Appreciate it.
We got Issue says that, yeah, cover of the year for sure. There you go. You got a lot of people saying that. I've had a lot of people message me on Instagram when I told them I'm having you on, and they're like, dude, that's the best cover of the year for 2020. I had a lot of people tell me that.
When I hear that, that's just like, I mean, it's so humbling to hear it, and it's just I have so much gratitude to you guys for saying that. I think it's not like a confidence thing. Like it's the confidence is there, but it's just such an overwhelming thing to hear from so many people saying, "Oh, cover of the year," and I'm just thankful, man. I'm just thankful for everyone just receiving it the way they have and loving it so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys.
So who would you really want to draw if you were doing any Marvel character that you wanted?
You know, I don't know if they would because I haven't really seen a ton of books with him. But honestly, man, if I could do Daredevil, I would do Daredevil.
Oh yeah, nice.
I love Daredevil. He's one of my favorite characters. I would say him or Punisher would be really cool. But honestly, really anything, man. I just want to work for him, and then honestly, the next step is to do the conventions. That's like I said, I forgot to finish my point earlier. I was saying,
go ahead.
I was talking to my wife, and I was like, I've had this dream for so long of being able to say, okay, I work for DC, I work for Marvel, and then the next big goal or step is to, get my own booth and do the cons, man. Like that's my goal. I want to get out there and shake people's hands and meet people, and I feel like that's what it's all about, So
absolutely. Well, you got the right attitude. That's half the battle, man. You got a nice, humble attitude about you. That'll get you very, very far, especially with comic book fans that's who you work for. I mean, I know you'll work for DC and Marvel, but you really work for the people buying the books, right? That's ultimately who you're working for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Infamous has a good question here. You may have already stated, how did you get discovered? How did you submit a portfolio to shops?
That's a great question. Okay, so for me, so I'll give you a little, well, I'll do my backstory. So basically, I've been doing art seriously for about 10 years. And I was mostly working with bands, metal bands. I'm like really into metal music. So I was doing t-shirts, album arts, logos, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I was increasing my skills over the years. And then I always loved comic characters and I always loved comics. I always loved the movies, all that, but I never really saw myself going into to doing, like covers or anything like that. So I had to have, within the past couple of years, I had to make some critical decisions on what exactly I wanted to do. And so I finally was just like, you know what? I want to do illustration. I don't want to really do concept art. I could have, tried to go the concept art route and maybe for Marvel as a concept artist and work on the movies or whatever. But I wanted to do covers, and I love just pure illustration stuff, not concept art or whatever. So basically what I did was I just started reaching out to a ton of people. I was just going on Facebook and I was messaging all kinds of different, I was messaging editors, I was messaging retailers, and just saying, just short and sweet stuff. I was just saying, hey, my name's Aaron. I'm pretty new to the industry, or I'm breaking into the industry, and I'd love to do some covers for you. Here's some of my work, and I'd maybe attach 5 to 7 pieces, and then some people would never respond, and then some people would respond, and I think
so it wasn't like McFarlane who submitted 300 submissions. And what a story! Huh? What a story!
That's just amazing because it's for my situation. I'm just so blessed, man, because not that I haven't worked hard. I've worked incredibly hard to get to where I'm at now. But I was just telling Denton the other night. Actually, we were talking, and I was just saying it's just mind blowing to me because I feel like I haven't put that much effort into getting into this industry, if that makes sense. You heard stories like Todd McFarlane and, him trying so hard and, rejection after rejection after rejection. And it's like, with me, it's like, I didn't hit up that many people. I was just like, a few people here and there. And Steven Finkel was one of those main ones that, I had a lot of friends saying like, hey, contact him. And, he has a lot of pull in the industry, and I think he would be vested in you. And so So yeah, he was one of the ones that really liked my work right off the bat. And he was like, hey, he's like, I'd love for you to do some store exclusives for me, and then and then kind of see where it goes. And then that's kind of how it all happened. Like to sum up that answer. So I would just tell people, if you're an artist or you're trying to break into the industry, don't be afraid to reach out to people, because I got caught up in the lie of that, thinking that these publishers and editors were going to just magically reach out to me, which can happen, but it's not always the case. And more often than not, it's more you need to reach out to these publishers and these editors and these retailers, and you put in the work. I think as artists, a lot of times we think, oh, well, if our work is good,
it should just speak for itself. Yeah, shit like that.
Yeah, they're just gonna come running at us, and that's not really necessarily how it works. So you need to, and it's not like right now in this day and age, I was telling my wife the other day, it is literally the best time to be an artist, because we have social media. It's like you've got Twitter, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got whatever other
so many avenues.
Yeah, and it's like you like guys like Todd McFarlane, they had to put a portfolio together, like with tangible artwork, and knock on physical doors and say, hey, here's my work, will you accept me? And it's like, now it's like, I take 3 minutes to go, hey, my name's Aaron. I would love to work with you. Please consider looking at some of my work. Here's some of it. And they either say, no, it's okay. Or actually, hey, that's some pretty solid work. We're interested. How can we get in contact with you? Blah, blah. So it's just a matter of just not being scared and, just putting yourself out there. And it's like, what's the worst that can happen? People say no. Like, okay, you're still gonna sleep fine.
You gotta get used to hearing no in that business, right? That's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is, and it's like, I think artists are really afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of rejection. It hurts. It's not a good feeling, But if you want to get the jobs, you have to just really say, like, okay, I'm gonna put my nose to the grindstone. I'm gonna get my name out there. And I'm gonna talk to as many freaking people as I can to make this happen.
You gotta be relentless. That's the key, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was, I struggle, and I think a lot of artists struggle with this. I struggle with just being just lazy, I guess, and or not lazy, but just like not trying as hard as I could. And I think until doors started opening up for me, before that, I wasn't really making, like, if I'm really being honest with myself, I wasn't making the effort that I knew I could be making, and I feel like until I was like, look, I want this so bad. I've worked so hard for this. Like,
sometimes you need a little bit of success to kind of give you that drive and push, right? I mean, I think that goes for anything. It doesn't matter if you're an artist or you're in business or whatever you're doing. When you start to have a little success, that will get you going real quick. Is just that little push.
Exactly.
But, hey, you can do this, and you just need confidence, and that's it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I wasn't before Ronin. I wasn't. I mean, I was confident, but I think with Ronin, it was like the tipping point where I realized, okay, this is where, like, the things are going to start, like, getting going, so
right. Good.
But yeah, so
we got another question here in the chat. Are you self-taught? Did you go to any formalized school for art, or did you sort of teach yourself how to draw? What's the story there?
So that's actually an awesome question, man. I'm mostly self-taught, but I think I'll tell you right now, I'm highly against art school. Like, and there's a lot of people that, will say,
a lot of people say that. I've heard that many times.
I am highly, highly against art school. So, and the reason why is because, like I said,
You watched my interview with Ryan Brown. I think he said the exact same thing. He didn't really learn much in school.
remember that.
He goes, I had to really learn a lot in art school. You know, he goes, I really learned on my own how to do shit. You know,
you don't need to go to art school. I think it's sad too because this is a whole another topic of debate. But I feel like just people going to school and getting ripped off and being, you can go to one of the best art schools, you can go to Cal Arts or whatever, and you spend $200,000 in your total tuition, and it's like that's not going to guarantee that you for sure get a job. So can you imagine being $200,000 in debt and you're a struggling artist and you're like, I'm never close to getting the job, So anyway, so basically. Sorry, that's a whole other tangent. But to answer,
you didn't have to dig yourself out of a hole, basically.
So to answer your question, with that, yes, I the way I went about it with mostly self-taught, but then I also did a mentorship, which I think is a very valuable thing that you can do if you can get in contact with artists that you look up to that might be offering mentorships. I think mentorships are amazing because typically the professional artists will charge, so I did a mentorship with an artist named Tyler Carter, and he works for, are you familiar with Blue Sky Animation? They're the ones that did like the Peanuts movie and
sure.
Yeah. So he's a visual development artist. So they're actually owned by Disney now. Disney bought them out.
Yep.
So he works for them. So he's a pro, and this was a few years back. But I think I was paying $250 a month. We met a few times a month, and we would do a couple classes, and then each art class we would have an art piece. Whether he gave us an assignment or we just had an old art piece that we wanted feedback on. So say even this Ronin piece, say I was like, hey, Tyler, I want feedback, I want critique on it. And he might, he would take it and say, okay, I think you can work on this. I think you can work on that, tweak that, whatever. So that's basically what I did, which I highly recommend. If you can get feedback and that one-on-one feedback from a mentor, that's what really will boost your skills. So I feel like I did that for 2 years, and that's what really helped me to be better at all the different things that make up a good art piece. So and then there's YouTube. YouTube is incredible. There's so many amazing tutorials on YouTube. You can go. There's like stuff like schoolism. You can do subscriptions where you can learn stuff. So there's just so much content out there right now that you can.
And it's really just a lot cheaper than $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
art school.
Insanely! I'd rather spend $15,000 on classes and just mentorships or whatever than spending $200,000. You get your degree and then you don't even get a job in the industry. So it's like I'm incredibly thankful that I didn't go the art school route, and I hope that I can be an inspiration to people or an example to people to show like, hey, you can break into the industry and you don't need to go to art school. You don't need to do it. So but and I say all this like not if there's any people out there that are going to art school or considering it, I'm not saying it's the worst thing ever. I'm just saying be wary, be careful, because it's like you don't want to spend all this money and then you don't get the job that you're really craving or you're really wanting, and it was just you just wasted 4 years and a ton of money. So
I think that's great advice. Absolutely. Yeah, D says McFarland said probably the same thing about art school. He did.
Yeah.
He definitely was self-taught. I know that. Yeah, he was self-taught.
Yeah. It's if you put in the work, you can make it happen. It comes down to your drive. It comes down to your how bad you want it, and if it means staying up till 3 to 5 o'clock in the morning for days, months, years on end, if that's what it takes to get to you where you want to be, then that's what you got to do. And I'm a firm believer that I'm really, really big on putting in the work that most people can, it's not always the case, but I feel like most times, more often than not, if you're putting the work in, you will reach success. You will reach those goals. You just have to not quit. You just have to keep pushing forward. And so.
Comics and Sketches says, how would you describe your style?
How would I describe my style?
I mean, the Red Sonja cover is definitely like a photorealistic type cover, right? It's very,
I guess
kind of photorealistic a little bit, right?
I guess
it looks like a real human being there, right?
Yeah. I guess I kind of teeter in that like somewhat cartoony, but somewhat more on the realistic spectrum. Like I wouldn't really consider it photorealistic, but I definitely lean on the more realistic side with my style. So so
awesome.
But yeah, man. So.
Well, I was going to keep you on here for about an hour, but we've been on 41 minutes. If you got to go, that's not a big deal. I'm
actually good, but I'm good.
Yeah. Let's pull up more of your stuff here. This is a new piece, or this is one of your newest ones, right? This was a commission you did, X23.
X23, yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. I love the smoke effect in the background.
Thanks, man.
The blood on the claws.
Thank you, man. Yeah,
a lot of great detail. I like the face. It's a very, very hard, sharp face. Which is perfect for her because that resembles the character.
Yeah,
very hard and sharp.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of doing the black and white paintings with color splashes. I love that, man. That's like,
dude, I get drawn really quickly to art that's black and white. I love black and white stuff.
Oh yeah, I love grayscale work. I love just working in value. It's awesome. I love it.
You're what's that other guy that does a lot of that? Miko Suyan. I think his name Miko Suyan. He does a lot of that grayscale and black and white stuff.
Okay, that's awesome. That's cool.
He's like that too. But yeah, I love that X23. And then this one's really cool too. This is like is this like an art piece that you did? That was just a commission.
That was a cover actually.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Is that coming out to purchase?
Yeah, it's I don't know if you guys are familiar. It's in the description. It's John Paul Kamath. He's the founder of London Horror Comics. Have you heard of it, or I don't know?
No, I've not heard of it.
Okay, so he has like a horror comic. So I think last time I spoke to him on email, he said this should be coming out in December. I think November, or December.
Man. So I gotta make sure. I gotta find out where I can buy that. That's definitely what I'm gonna buy. I love that.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
man, I can see in the smoke. I can see like a little like a demon face in the smoke.
She's a demon slayer, so that's kind of. So I told John, like, hey, I was like, what if we incorporated some type of cool imagery of showing her battle, like almost like her. I wanted. Then again, going back to the emotion thing, that's what I try to push for every image, is that some type of emotion. So I was like, let's try to capture something where it's that film noir feel, and she's battling her inner demons as well as her physical demons, And so I thought that'd be cool to kind of have like, the smoke coming from her cigarette,
That's an unbelievable image right there. I love that. That's one of my favorite.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, so you need to start doing originals on this, because that could sell for a lot of money right there.
I know.
A lot of money.
Yeah, I need to.
I would pay you $3 or $4 grand for the original right there of that piece right there.
Dude, that'd be amazing. That'd be awesome.
So before you sell it to somebody else, keep me in mind.
Yeah, keep you in mind, man. I'll keep you in mind.
Look at this one too. This one's crazy.
Yeah, that's dude. What's funny is a lot of people, like, I can't really talk about it right now, but there's a lot of publisher covers I'm doing right now, and they're almost all of them are like a horror-ish
Yeah.
It's funny because it kind of reminded me of Ryan, because I know Ryan. I know he does a lot of horror-ish kind of stuff, and that's kind of like his niche.
He does the zombie stuff really well too. He loves doing zombies.
Yeah, his zombie stuff's legit. So it's just funny, man, because I feel like a lot of people have been hitting me up to do more of that like edgy kind of like scary horror kind of stuff. So
Ian Baldwin says you're the smoke mist master. It's awesome, man.
Thank you, Ian. Appreciate it, man. That's awesome.
Any work on Harley, Power Girl, or Catwoman? You probably can't say what you're doing, but
I can tell you
all that.
For sure, no on all those, but I do have a Catwoman piece. If you scroll down my page on my Instagram,
let me see.
I have a print. If you want to have a print shop and in-print shop, so if you're interested in getting the Catwoman print, I think it's near the bottom.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, there we go, Catwoman. So that was just a personal piece I wanted to work on. So it's not an official DC cover or anything. But if you're interested, in getting a print, there's that one. So
let me go plug in my laptop. I didn't realize I'm low on battery. I don't want to.
Okay. Yeah, no worries.
I don't want to lose you midstream. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna get my battery. 1 second.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Well, guys, it's just you and me now, I guess. If you guys have any more questions, I'd love to talk to you guys. You guys are beer drinkers out there. This one's not bad. Firestone Mine Haze. Pretty good. My wife got it just now, so not too shabs.
All right. Sorry about that. I should have been thinking. I thought my laptop would last longer.
You're totally fine.
I love that one too.
Which one? Let's see. That's weird. It's not popping up on my. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So actually, that one was mixed media. So I sketched that out in really rough, crappy sketch with charcoal. I love charcoal, and
I love the mouth. I love the face. How you did that. That is freaking awesome.
That's actually my. That's my teeth, man. So basically, awesome. My wife is my photographer. So almost all my work, usually if you see a male character, it's usually me. Like, and obviously if it needs to be like super buff or whatever, I'll just obviously enhance it because I'm not super buff. But yeah, like usually I'll use myself as a reference. So that was I figured out my lighting, and I had my wife take the picture for it, and then sketched it out in charcoal, and then brought it into Photoshop, and that's why it has that really legit texture, that gritty feel.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Well, I love gritty art. Like I'm a fan also of Zafino, Geraldo Zafino. He has that gritty.
I love that gritty,
that gritty texture to his art. I love it.
Yep. So I left all that. I tried to leave all that in to capture that and to try to erase all those charcoal dots and marks and smears and and then I just painted over it in Photoshop and try to still keep that feel.
I mean, I know a lot. I know some shops, some online shops. I got connections. I'll try to hook you up with some guys, man. I'm sure you don't need my help. You probably have plenty of people that want your work, but I'll definitely do what I can to get you.
I'm open to it, man. I love that, man. I appreciate it.
I mean, I communicate all the time with guys from like Comics Elite, Comic Mint. I know some contacts there. Scorpion Comics. I talked with the owner of that guy on Instagram. They do exclusives, and I can't imagine they wouldn't want you to do an exclusive cover. I mean, it's amazing.
Dude, it's pretty funny because I'm trying to remember exactly what they said. So I had this. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so I had a. Oh yeah, that was a Zatanna commission that I did. So real quick, I'll go back to what I was saying, but since you pulled that up, so a lot of these commissions that I do, it's really cool because a lot of people are. I have some people hit me up, and just for time purposes right now, for commissions, I've only really been doing like digital painting stuff. But what's cool was the guy that I did this for, he was totally on board with it for doing the commission, and so I did it. I painted it up, and then I have a printer that I go to, and he puts these on these. It's called Somerset Velvet, and it's a 300 GCM, like basically like gallery quality paper. So it's from what he told me, it will outlive you. Like it doesn't rot, it doesn't fade.
Nice.
Like it's incredibly high quality, thick paper. So I've been doing these commissions, and it's cool because most people are turned off by like the digital stuff. They're like, oh, I don't want a commission that's that's digitally done. But it's cool because I can do that. I can put it on this really high quality paper. I can sign it, I can date it, and I can send it out to them. And and all my clients that I've done these commissions for, they love them. They're like, oh my gosh, like the quality is like so good, the colors look so rich, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So I mean, not that I want to not do traditional commissions, but I enjoy doing the digital because they can still turn out really, really well and really nicely, especially with the kind of paper that I'm getting them put on. So it's like $35 a piece just to put them on this quality paper. So
wow, that must be cheap paper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that image. I love that image of Zatanna. That is awesome.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I mean, if DC doesn't call you about this, they're out of their minds.
Dude,
you know how easy that would sell on a cover, on a DC cover, like a dark Justice League cover. That thing would sell like hotcakes.
Dude, I had a lot of people hitting, like when I released that, they were like, "Oh, is this an actual cover?" Or like, "Where can I buy this?" And I was like, "No, I'm sorry."
Yeah, where can I buy that comic book? Right, I know. That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, but yeah. So speaking of DC, I'm super excited to share what I'm doing for them. So it'll be pretty cool. It's really sad too. What's going on with them? I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah, I'm a little bit familiar with it. I know they got new ownership, and they are cleaning house at the moment, right? It looks that way, anyways.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. They're just I think like either half or more than half of their staff, their editorials and stuff, have been let go. So it's pretty sad, man. Like all the artists that. I know like J. Scott Campbell and stuff, like he posted about it and he was like, hey, I'm sorry to all my colleagues, all my editors, everyone that I've worked with, I'm with you guys in spirit, I'm sad that you guys are going through this, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation about where the comic book industry is going. I've been collecting comic books since I was 14 or 15 years old. I'm an old man now, so I've got, I've been doing it a long time. I've seen a lot of things come and go, but the problem is, one of the problems is there's a lot of kids today don't seem to be too much into comic books. Like my son and daughter are 8 and 11, and I've shown them my comic books. I've bought them comic books. They'd rather be on their phone, or they'd rather be playing video games. There's not a lot of interest there. Maybe what I think is you see a lot more interest in that 25 to 40-year-old age range. There's a lot of interest in comic books, but the young kids, like when I was a kid, I was buying comic books. I didn't collect them. I read them and probably threw them out most of the time, right? Those days are long gone because, I would buy them at Circle K's and 7-Elevens, and now comic books are expensive, right? They're $4 or $5 a book. And it's a totally different crowd that's buying them. So
Yeah.
Where it goes long term is hard to predict. No doubt about it. It's very hard to predict.
Yeah, and that's what's kind of, you know, I'm trying not to be scared about it, but that's something that's kind of been in the back of my mind lately, where I'm like, man, like what is the future of comics? You know, like what, you know, especially with COVID, and then you know, just the so many, you know, retailers losing their business, and just all kinds of just horrible things that have been happening to the comic industry. And I'm like, you know, with all the stuff with Diamond, and I'm like, man, what is the fate of, what's the future? And it's scary for me, being an up and coming illustrator, now breaking into this industry. And I'm like, man, what's the future hold for me? You know, where it's, but I think, you know, I was talking to somebody about it, and it was like, it gave me a little bit of hope, you know, just thinking like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen with DC. You know, hopefully they I don't know I don't know what'll happen with DC or Marvel, but you know, hopefully everything will be fine with them. But you know, like, I think there's a lot of room for indie guys to come up right now, you know, and like, you know, I've done a lot of right now, and currently doing a lot of indie covers and stuff. So so it's kind of cool, where it's like, I think what's going on right now might give a lot of more opportunity for those kind of guys, you know, to kind of shine, you know. So yeah, so we'll see what happens, but it's definitely.
I mean, I've been in comic books 30 some years, and I can't tell you where it's going to go. I mean, it's hard to predict, but I would say without Marvel and DC, I don't know that you have a comic book industry, because those are all the biggest, best characters are in those two companies. Yeah, independent comic books have their place, but I don't think they survive without the big characters, right? Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Wolverine, X-Men. I mean, all that stuff I think will definitely last. But how shaking out, it's hard to. There's no doubt about it. And you see a lot of people are doing their own comic books. They're selling on Indiegogo. They're doing Kickstarters. I mean, that's an avenue that sell directly to the customer, right? Sell directly to the comic book purchaser. That's another route that people have gone. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. In some cases, I think it's working, but no, man. I don't think there's any easy answers on any of that. All I know is, if you keep producing the work you're doing, someone's going to want it, and someone's going to want to publish it and to produce it. That's my ultimate take on that. Is, you know, you keep producing images like this. I mean, I'm going to buy that all day long.
Thanks, man.
You're going to get my money. So, you know, you start producing your own comic books. I'm going to buy them, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that will. So, I don't think you have to worry too much, man. I think there's going to be people that want that stuff, that want that type of image, want that work.
Yeah. And I think too, like, I mean, what's your opinion on, you know, do you think that because, well, I mean, we all know DC has hurt a little bit from their like movies and their shows, you know, they haven't been as successful. But I feel like, I think as long as, I think that, like, the whole side of the, like, movie and show aspect will really keep things, like, alive and fresh, especially because, like, you know, guys like Marvel, they have all these, you know, they have Phase 4 lined up, and they have all these shows coming to Netflix and stuff. So I think superheroes are huge right now. They're in, and I think
it's in the culture. It's inside the culture right now. No doubt.
Totally capturing the culture, and I think that's the side where I'm looking at it positively, where I'm like, okay, like, you know, things are going to be okay. You know, they seem a little sketchy right now, but I think because they are so infused with our culture, and because they're so held highly, I think, and you know, because they're associated with physical comic books, I think I think it'll keep going. You know, I think it'll still be fruitful and you know. So
we're just going through a rough patch. I think in a year or so, maybe less, I think things will get back to normal more. No doubt about it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. The world's nuts right now, man. This is a crazy ass year.
Yeah.
A year ago, if I had said all this stuff was going to happen, no one would believe it. They'd lock you up in an institution, right?
Yeah. 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 It's crazy. Sometimes I'm like, man, are we going to wake up from a bad dream or something?
I walk into a store and everybody's wearing a mask, and I'm like, what the hell's happened to the world? What the hell is going on?
It's crazy,
right?
man. I read an article. I don't know how factual it is, but it was talking about how possibly it could come to the point where if you're not wearing a mask, that you can be it can be treated as a sign of terrorism, and you can be arrested for it.
It's almost like the opposite of V from Vendetta. You ever seen the movie V from Vendetta? Where everyone was wearing a mask to sort of show their opposition to whatever the government or whatever. It's almost like the opposite of that, where everybody has to wear a mask. It's crazy, man.
It's nuts. Yeah.
There's an old Chinese proverb, may you live in interesting times. And I think we're definitely living in some interesting times right now. There's no doubt about that.
It'll be interesting to see, how, once 2021 hits, if things will kind of go back to some type of normalcy. I don't know what normalcy is going to look like, but hopefully somewhat go back to a normal routine of life. But
I hope so, man. Because my kids, they're have to be homeschooled virtually, I guess, for a while. I mean, I've got a job where I work from home, so it's I can kind of be involved in that. But I don't know what working parents do. They have to go to a job and they got kids, and they're like, what do we do with the school? I can imagine the pressure on people right now.
Yeah, I'm blessed, man, to be able to, do this and work from home. And then, I don't work in customer service. I work at a huge warehouse and now an airport, so it's like I'm not encountering people really like on a large scale, like a retailer or something. So my wife's a stay-at-home mom, so it's I'm blessed to, have her just be able to stay home with them. And so
good. Well, that was kind of it, man. I just wanted to go over your art. I wanted people that subscribe to my channel to know about you. I've got a lot of followers on Instagram as well. I'm not as many as you, but I'm about to crack 1,000. I'm real close to 1,000 subs.
Sweet.
So, I'll certainly promote you as much as I can to the people that I know, the contacts that I have in the comic industry. So that'll try to help you. And then I'd love to have you back on the show at some point to talk about, especially if you got something that you want to promote. Hey, this cover, I just did it. It's coming out on this, this forum or their website.
Yeah.
Would love to help highlight that for you and promote it for you.
Sweet.
I'm all about doing that for you. So.
Yeah. Well, I have currently I'm working on about 9 or 10 covers, I think. So, and from what I've heard from talking to different people, they have plenty more to come. So I think, in the next, I would say between now and the end of the year, it's just, I'm going to have a lot of new covers to be releasing. So that'd be awesome, man. So
eventually you'll be like, who's this Justice for Comics guy? What the hell is he bothering me for? You'd be like, I got plenty of work, man. Don't bother me. I'm good.
No, honestly, I would thank you for bringing me on. I appreciate it, man, and I would absolutely love to come back on and talk comics, talk life, and for all you guys watching, I appreciate you guys coming on and hearing what I have to say. And thank you for supporting. If you were able to pick up Ronin, I'm forever thankful for it. I appreciate you guys getting it. And
that's the only complaint you'll get is that print run was only like 300 copies. Unfortunately, it was 1,000 copies, I might, we all would have gotten a copy. But,
you would not believe the amount of people that I have had message me saying, "Do you have any extra copies of Ronin?" And I have to tell every single one of them, "I'm so sorry, brother. I do not have any more copies. It was sold out in 2 minutes. The medals were sold out in about 30 seconds to maybe 1 minute, and that's it. So your best bet is literally if I get a few extra comps and I can hook people up, I will absolutely will, because I want as many people to get it as possible. Because
all right, Aaron. I remember you said that, Aaron. I remember you said that. I know you got.
Yeah. Now it's on record now. So
yeah, it's on my channel. It's going to be on YouTube forever, Aaron. It's going to be on there forever.
Wait, just splice that part out. Edit it out.
Yeah, you'll have to edit that out.
Yeah.
Oh man, well, thank you so much for coming on. This was awesome. I thought, I think the interview went well. We had some really good questions in the chat. A lot of my subscribers, they're on here all the time. They're very engaged. Cool. They're all heavy into the comic book industry. So awesome. This will do well for you, because there's a lot of people that watch my channel. I got way bigger channels that watch my channel for content. Believe me, they do.
That's awesome. Cool. Sweet.
There's channels that have thousands and thousands of subs that I don't have that watch my channel for content. So
that's awesome.
This will definitely help you for sure.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll try to get you on. Maybe maybe in September or October. Closer to the time of release of some of these books, I can have you back on.
I love that, man. I love that.
All right, man. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We're going to wrap it up. We've been on here an hour. It's about what I wanted to spend with Aaron, so I'm going to end the show here. Aaron, thanks again for coming on, man, and we'll stay in contact. And any news you want me to ever release on my channel, just message me on Instagram. We communicate quite a bit on there, so
awesome.
Stay in contact.
Yeah, thanks again for having me on, and to everyone watching, I appreciate you guys, and thanks for stopping by. So
all right, guys. I'll catch you again this weekend. Aaron, have a good evening, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Sweet. Sounds good, brother. Thank you, man. Bye.
All right.